Now let's talk about connection and vulnerability. These are so important to having a successful session with a client. Being intimate with somebody's body is a very vulnerable thing. Psychology researcher Brene Brown said that vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, courage, empathy, accountability, and authenticity, which are all things that we need in our lives. But in order to get the reward of those things, we have to risk. We have to risk being vulnerable. To help a client be vulnerable, we have to be vulnerable ourselves. And more important, we have to show the client that it's safe for them to be vulnerable with us. The first thing you can do this is to show the client that you accept them exactly as they are. Also, we never shame clients. We deal with a lot of sticky topics because touch is such an intimate thing and it's also very stigmatized sexually and romantically. Many people will associate touch with sexual and romantic feelings, and those feelings can often be transferred onto a snugglist. So if you have a client come to you and say, I'm having feelings for you, we never shame them. We never say, oh, you shouldn't be feeling that. Instead, we acknowledge that's a natural feeling to have because touch brings up a lot of romantic feelings and it's very romantically centered in our society. Let's talk more about that and see how we can work through that and help bring you back to a platonic ground. Also, we want to help our clients to feel empowered because they're choosing to do this for themselves and feel empowered to go outside of their comfort zone. Because snuggling with a random person is definitely outside of most people's comfort zone. Remember again that you should help your client feel that it's okay to be exactly who they are and that they are enough. Courage and compassion play a big role in the session. Being vulnerable with your client gives them the courage to do the same. So it's really important that when you're being vulnerable, you know what you're going to share, you have boundaries, but you're also authentic. When I talk to my clients, I tell them about my love of Mr. Rogers and I'll give them trivia about him, sing songs of his, or help them to understand his mantra, which is my mantra of it's you I like, exactly as you are, and driving that message home. I also sometimes tell my clients a little bit about my singing career, and they find that a very fun and engaging way to invest in me. And when they feel invested in me, they feel invested in the session. They feel a sense of trust and they feel excited to open up and speak with me. I don't share personal things about my life that involve other people. I don't tell my clients about any of my romantic relationships. I don't tell clients about my family or any of the difficulties they're going through. And I try and keep my struggles out of the picture unless I feel it's especially pertinent to the client. Remember, when you're sharing, it's not about you. It's about them, about helping your client to reach a point where they feel safe to be vulnerable themselves. And on that note, aside from talking, and because it's about them, you should listen. Listen, listen, listen. In order to feel like they're in a compassionate place, clients need to feel like they are being seen and heard, that their perspective matters. They can often walk into a session feeling disconnected, and it's our job to help facilitate connection. Clients can be guarded and unable to engage, and often don't even know what they want from a snuggle session. It's our job to step in and take the lead to guide them through a dance of exploring touch. Think of it as a dance too, where you are the lead and they're the follow, and you are giving them cues so that they can successfully execute the dance moves. So, when they don't know what they want, I like to talk about what I like and also ask them permission to explore different things. Can we try caressing? What about squeezing? Or do you like light tapping? Let's explore that. And then different parts of the body are important too. Some people are sensitive on their arms and would prefer to have their backs touched. So it's important that you get the opportunity to explore all the different areas of the body and different types of touch so that your client can make an educated decision about what works for them and what they like. I even had a client, and many clients actually, really like pressure. They just like to feel the weight of a body on them. Many people use weighted blankets so that they can feel that when they sleep. So there's a pose where you can lay flat on your client and they can feel that pressure from top to bottom. And that's a winner. So you're helping your client to work to understand themselves, to connect with their body, understand what they like, and also to be able to articulate what they like and what they don't like, and to be able to ask for that in a way that helps them feel empowered and not scared to do so. So they can find touch outside of a session too. Showing them what you prefer and responding well when they tell you what they prefer will help your client to feel safe and more willing to share and open up. In order to be there for your client and do all of these vulnerable things, snugglists need to take care of themselves. You must separate work and home. Some of the strategies I use to separate work is when I'm at work, I'm present and I am with my client. When I'm at home, I'm not thinking about what's going on with a client in a session. In order to help me do that, I take notes in a notebook after a session so that I can leave the session at the session. And then when I come back for a new session with the same client, I can review the notes and we can pick up where we left off. When you're in a session, you are with a client. You're not on your cell phone, texting, playing a game. You're definitely not sleeping. And oxytocin can make you sleepy. So be aware and be ready so that you don't fall asleep during a session. And take time to ground before a session. If you show up right when the session's starting, you will feel frantic and not able to bring a positive energy for yourself and for your client. Remember, you're the lead in this dance, and if you aren't leading from a place of groundedness, your client will feel it. So take some time to meditate, do some deep belly breathing, and be ready to start the session with a good energy. Also, have a support system. Reach out to other snugglists so that you can process the feelings that you go through, because snuggling takes a lot of energy and you're giving a lot to your client and you can often feel drained afterwards. So work through those feelings with other snugglists, but be careful not to share any confidential information. We don't talk about our clients specifically. We just talk about the general feelings we had in a session so that we can feel grounded and process those feelings. Also, trust yourself. You know best, and your intuition will help guide you and be there for your client and also step away when you need to. To facilitate a process of vulnerability and connection with your client, listen. Listen, 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 listen. I can't say this enough. Listen to not only their verbal communication, but their nonverbal communication as well. Note tension in their body. If you feel a client be tense, you can help relax them. One thing that I will do is I will squeeze my client and breathe very deeply and exhale slowly. And I will repeat this until the client relaxes. Another part of that is when I get to that height of the squeeze, I'll also relax my grip as I exhale. So not only am I giving them a breath cue, but I'm also giving them a body cue. And that will help them to relax. And I just keep doing that until they relax, unless it's not going well. And then, of course, always it is okay to say, hey, what are you feeling right now? And open up an opportunity for the client to share and have a conversation. Connection and vulnerability are at the heart of what we do. You are more than just a warm body for them, you are a cultivator of connection through the power of vulnerability. So go out there and be vulnerable with your clients.